both sides of the conversation, family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome to Both Sides of the Conversation. I'm your host, Tony Rochelle. Y'all see I'm solo today. John left me hanging, y'all. Now, he's out there in the community doing what he loves and what he does best. So shout out to John for in his absence. But you know how we do. Today is Thursday, which means it's Educational Thursday, where we're here to bring all the educational needs that you need. You know how we do on both sides of the conversation. We're going to get down and dirty, and we're going to make sure we educate y'all and keep y'all up to date with the resources and events that's going on in the community. It's very heavy right now. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of people passing away and things like that. And as you know, this is Insurance Month. So we have a special guest tonight, a very, very special guest, my sister, my friend, and we're going to bring her up a little bit later. But you know how we do. We're going to keep you updated on the events and the announcements of what's going on in the world. So let me go ahead and start off with that. World announcements. All right, community, here we go. Senator Lindsey Graham introduced bill to ban abortions nationwide after 15 weeks. On Tuesday, Senator Lindsey Graham revealed a bill proposal that would prevent abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. He recommended is based on the theory that fetuses feel pain at that age. The bill would only allow expectations for victims of rape and increase, and for mothers whose lives are at risk. So yeah, they're trying to ban abortions, you guys, and we're not going for that. So we're going to keep you guys up to date and see what else happens with that. First in U.S. death due to monkeypox. A man who resides in Los Angeles, California, has become the first African-American confirmed to have died from monkeypox. That's so sad. The Department of Public Health and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said on Monday, according to the statement, that the individual who has not been publicly identified was severely uncompromised following his hospitalized as they fought the virtual bud. The Department of Public Health issued a statement urging persons several who has suspected that they have monkeypox to seek medical care and treatment early and remain under the care of a provider during these illness. Community, it's still real out here. Monkeypox do exist, as you just seen. Not only did they say the first person died, but they also said an African-American man died. So what that tells you is that it's coming for our community. So please, Wear your mask. COVID is still real. Please, if you feel that you have any type of symptoms of monkeypox, go to the doctor. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Your life is more important. California inflammation relief payments. Oh, okay. We getting some money. The state of California is due to start sending out inflammation relief checks next month. The program, known as the Middle Class Tax Refund, will see direct payments being sent out to more than 20 million Californians. The size of the payments will range from between $350 to $1,050 based on the factors that include your income and number of dependents. Woo, I'm sorry I'm stumbling, y'all, but this is some news. So some money might be coming your way, so look out for that, okay? As I promised, we got to go into our community events. There's a lot of things that's going on around in the Bay Area, and we want to keep you guys up to date. The Bayview Safety Swim and Splash 8-week section starting this week, September 12th, November 4th. San Francisco Recreation Park and Departments will be in the Martin Luther King Jr. pool, 5703 3rd Street. Okay, y'all, bear with me because I'm doing it all by myself, y'all. John left me all alone, so let me make sure I put this on the screen for y'all. But we also have the Bayview Street Talk addressing historical transportation neglections. That will be Friday, September the 16th at 5 o'clock p.m. to 6:30 p.m. in the San Francisco area. You must RSVP. I have the information right here on the screen for you if you need that information. We also have the policy subcommittee meeting Friday, September the 16th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. For more information, please contact Daniel Laundrie, and his email address is right here on our screen. We have the Sunday Streets, Sunday, September 18th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Western Auditorium, Fillmore Street, Fulton Street, in between Fulton Street and Baker Street. And then we have the Jazz in the Garden. Like John said on Tuesday, if you want to have a date, you want to take somebody on the first date, go ahead and go to Jazz in the Garden. It's free to the public. It'll be Sunday, September the 18th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. with the Brotherhood Head Mini Park next to 319 Head Street in San Francisco, California. And then we're celebrating at the Glassy Art Festival and Marketplace. That will be Sunday, September the 18th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The crossing at East Cut, 200 Folsom Street, San Francisco, California. You will have to register for this event, and I have that information right here on the screen for you. Just as we was talking about the monkeypox, so what about monkeypox? Community Town Hall meeting Tuesday, September 20th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. This is a virtual event as well as an in-person event. It is free, but you will have to RSVP with Eventbrite. And the address is 1035 Market Street in San Francisco, California. And I also have that information right here on the screen for you. And then we have the Bubble Go Robot Stunting and Wrapping Workshop, which sounds very interesting. Okay, that's Wednesday, September 21st and September 28th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Bayview Opera House. And that is located in our city, San Francisco, California. We also have the Quality of Life Festival and Advocacy Day, September 22nd and September 24th at 2500 Independence Avenue, and that's Washington, D.C. For more information, you please go to this website that we have posted on the screen. And then we also have our sickle cell. Sorry, community, just 1 second. Okay, that's the Quality of Life. And then we have our 9th annual KMJ Sickle Cell Warriors Walk. Saturday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Bayview Opera House, as well at 4705 3rd Street, San Francisco, California. Please visit the website that's displayed on the screen. And then we have our OMI roller skate party on Saturday, September 24th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. I know that's going to be a lit event. Y'all got to make sure y'all get out there and get y'all skate on like we used to do in high school. And yeah, have a good time. Take the family. And then we have our international shift free intervention site specific performance and art installation, which is September 24th. From 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. You will have to RSVP for this event, and the information is right here on the screen. And then we have our Harlems of the West, the San Francisco Fillmore Jazz era. Now, this is the era of 1940s and 1950s when a lot of us was getting made from our parents. Y'all got to go. They're going to have a photograph exhibit. That's going to be Saturday, September 24th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And there's going to be a special jazz guest. Y'all don't want to miss that, community. And then we have the Pink Can Presents Blue Ribbon Car Show, Saturday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's 727 Nelson Rising Lane in San Francisco, California. And make sure you register for this event if you plan on going. We got so many events, community. We have our health submission meeting Sunday, September 25th from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And that's Third Baptist Church of San Francisco, California. And I have the address right here on the screen for you. And then we have District 10 Safety Plan Violence Prevention Peace Rally, Saturday, October 1st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's for District 6. And that's 428 11th Street, San Francisco, California. And we have our Pop-Up Village Saturday, October 8th. And that's from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And that address is 1201 Mandela Street, Bayview Opera House. Opera House got a lot of events going on. Y'all got to make sure y'all tap in with the Opera House. And then we have our San Francisco High School, Middle School Night Fair. Learn about application process and financial aid from San Francisco area top schools. Opens to all from grades 5th grade to 8th graders, October 14th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Boys and Girls Club of San Francisco, Don Fisher Clubhouse at 380 Fulton Street, and that's also in San Francisco, California. If you have any questions, feel free to email this address that we have displayed on our screen. And then keeping it all about the babies, the high school test prep class. This is awesome. Open to all 7th and 8th graders. You will be prepared to take the placement test for the HSPT exam. Classes start in October. And for more information, please email the email address that we have displayed on the screen. We also have the Peace Parks Presents Friday Night Fun every Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Hampton Rec Center, and that's 1600 Gary Street, and that's also located in San Francisco, California. All right, community, you looking for some fun? Saturday, February Fun Day, field trips, sporting events, and much more. Every second and fourth Saturday. For more information, please email the email address that's located on our screen. And then we will be having the 33rd Annual Pee Wee Basketball League. Registration is currently open, looking for all volunteers. Coach leads will start the first week of October. For more information, please visit the website that's displayed on our screen. And our very last event, we getting through it, is our San Francisco Smart Money Coaching, free consulting financial guidance for anyone living or working or receiving services in San Francisco California. To schedule an appointment, please call 1-877-256-0073. Woo, we got through those events. Now, y'all looking for something to do? I just gave you so much to do and so much to think about. If for some reason that you didn't catch everything that I said, you can always visit our websites where everything is displayed there. But both sides of the conversation is always searching for volunteers. Our work is inspirational and it feels so good. So we make a difference in our community and results show. We are a highly driven group with a high impact and we get the right things done at the right time. Not only will you contribute to the community, but you will learn a lot and gain knowledge in your field of interest within the organization. So we value you. We need your ideas. We love your inputs. So sign up and be a volunteer today and you can make a difference. Support both sides of the conversation while shopping online, and Amazon Smiles donations. Your purchases will go directly to both sides of the conversation. All you need to do is start your shopping at smiles.amazon.com and choose both sides of the conversation as your charity organization, and the donations will be made at no extra cost to you. Please visit all of our social media sites for more information on how to give back to the community for both sides of the conversation. And as always, we have our Sunday conversation coming up, which is a very big one. It's going to be violence prevention, Saturday, September the 18th at 4 p.m. And what I love most about that show coming up is that will be our youth show. The youth will be holding it down. And as always, every Tuesday, we have our Hidden Gems show. We have Portia Taylor coming on, and she has an inside of the prisons. So y'all don't want to miss that show, which is Tuesday, September the 20th at 7 p.m. All right, community, I got through the events. I got through the announcements. Now we about to have some fun. Like I said, for the new people that's just now watching our show, my name is Tony Rochelle. I am your host for tonight. Welcome to Both Sides of the Conversation, where this is a community-based platform. My platform, your platform. And with that being said, I'm going to bring up our guest for tonight. It's such a special night, community, because I'm with family. I'm with family, so I can just be myself. You know, I can always be myself, but I get to extra be myself with this guest. So with no further ado, let me introduce my sister, my friend, this entrepreneur that got it going on, Miss Renee. Hey, girl.
Everyone, hi. Yes, this is my sis. Oh, my light just turned off. Okay, here we go. Let me turn that back on. Thank you to both sides of the conversation for allowing me the opportunity to be on the show tonight. It was funny because Tony had texted me and we just confirmed, she's like, hey, you're going to be on the show I'm hosting. So we actually did not know that. I'm super excited, that she's with me on the show. So it's going to be great. All righty.
So I'm sure that people want to know more about you and what you about to talk about. Yes. You at home, sister, so be yourself, have fun. The community got your back and they definitely want to be educated. So yes. You let us know what you about to do, girlfriend.
All right. So just a little bit about myself. We are going to talk about life insurance tonight, but before I dive into that, you guys have never seen me before. Just a little background. I have been in this industry for 15 years. I joined at 10 years old. I'm just kidding. But yes, 10-year anniversary on August 4th. And I am a mother. I have a 4-year-old son. So being in the business for 15 years, I wasn't a mother at the time, but I did feel that educating families in this area was important. Now that I am a mother, it's really changed my perspective. I've always believed in what we do, educating the community about why it's important. But now that I have my son myself, I'm like, wow, I really see, why not only, people who are single, you need coverage, but especially parents, right? We have a little one that depends on us. So, I am a Bay Area native as well. I have an office out in Dublin. I don't live in Dublin, but that's just where we have it so that, it could be kind of central. But other than that, we're just here to educate and answer any questions that you guys have. I do have a, little slideshow. I don't like draining things out. I really like getting straight to the point, keeping it very simplistic, and things that are relatable to us. And just questions that you probably have will be answered tonight. So thank you again, Tony, for the introduction. And if you could pull up the slides, please, I will hop into that. My information's below. That's my Instagram page, my business page. So if you have questions outside of tonight, feel free to DM me. Ayana Matthews is also in the business, so feel free to reach out to her as well. I know she's part of both sides of the conversation as well. So that's just a picture of me. You could go to the next slide. September, it is Life Insurance Awareness Month. So when I was asked to, be a part of Educational Thursdays, I'm like, wow, how perfect is it? Because September is the month where we educate, even more about life insurance. Although I do feel it is something we need to know every day, right? There's so many people who are not covered, but we do focus on it and highlight it a lot in September. Next slide. So why are people having so many financial challenges? Life insurance is part of your financial house, right? Most people today don't get financial education. So a big reason why people don't have coverage, the number one is not being educated. We don't really know why we need it. We hear we need it, but who do we trust kind of thing? Having a financial game plan, and most people don't have a financial coach. So yes, I am life insurance licensed, but we do so much beyond this. Today, this is what we're focusing on though. Our overall mission for families, honestly, is just so that families can eventually reach financial independence. We're all working so hard, especially in the Bay Area. It's so expensive out here, right? And you want to still keep your goals in the back of your mind. Don't give up on your goals. So that's about the full picture. But again, life insurance may not be the funnest topic to talk about, but it's very important to include that in your financial journey. So what happens is this results in serious challenges, of course, for Main Street families. Next slide. What I'm going to cover is just some background on who we are, and then I'm going to get into the educational piece. So our mission, it is to help families earn more income, become properly protected. So that's what we're covering today. Proper protection means insurance, right? There's so many insurances out there, but not all work the same, and I'm going to cover that today. Debt freedom, financial independence. Again, that's not a topic of tonight, but that's just something we cover. Next slide. And we were just announced number one, most trusted by Investors Business Daily Market Watch with life insurance, our company. So, how awesome is it that this just happened like a couple of weeks ago. So that's for 2022, we are number one in the industry. Next slide. Rated A+ by AM Best. Next. And then we currently actually have 900 billion of insurance coverage in force. So not everyone has heard of us because we don't advertise, but we are very effective because the big thing that we focus on is education. So a lot of the agents that work here, we do a lot of the hard work that most people don't do anymore. Not saying other companies don't, but we really meet face to face with clients. We go to their houses. Well, not, things have changed, right? Whoever's comfortable with that, but we will really meet people where they're at to educate them first. And we've built all of this without having to advertise. So that's just some background on us. And I'll get now into the educational piece. What is life insurance, right? Life insurance is a contract between you and your insurance company. And what happens is you're paying a monthly premium. God forbid we pass away prematurely, the insurance company, it's their responsibility to now pay that out to your family. That's what insurance is. So think about health insurance, your auto insurance, renter's insurance, dental, vision, all of that. We pay for it. We may not use it all the time, but guess what? Something happens. We're hoping that insurance company will deliver to our family, right? God forbid a car accident. So life insurance in this situation is where if we pass away prematurely and, just death is always an unexpected thing, right? We're not necessarily trying to focus on it, but we do need a plan and prepare, God forbid that happens. then whatever face amount death benefit you feel you want to leave behind to your family, that is what the insurance company should be paying out to your family. And it says your beneficiaries can use that for, not only funeral expenses, but other things that they may need it for. Why is it important? Life insurance is important because it protects your spouse, your children from the potentially devastating financial losses that could result if something happened to you. So when we hear life insurance, a lot of times people think, okay, I just need it because of funeral expenses, but it goes beyond that. And I'm going to break it down more. Yes, we need to eliminate, right? We've all dealt with it before, the GoFundMe account, selling plates, car washes, just to raise money for a funeral. But imagine the aftermath after that. Like, yes, funerals are expensive. You need to cover it. But what if you have children? What if you have a husband who's the breadwinner, right? Their income is no longer there. And I'm going to touch base more into that on the next slides. But life insurance is more than just final expenses. It provides financial security, helps pay off your debt. Believe it or not, when someone passes away, their debt does not get washed out, right? You hear people dealing with like their spouse's debt, they have to continue paying. If you have a mortgage, if your parents pass away, they have a mortgage, they don't have life insurance. Guess what? The house doesn't go away, that bill doesn't go away. You still have the responsibility to take care of it. And these are just things we don't think about, right? Until it happens. Help to pay for living expenses. You have children, they still need food. They might not even be in college. What if you want to leave money behind for them to continue in a higher education, things like that. Also paying for medical expenses. And then of course we covered final expenses is what that is funeral expenses, all those costs. Next. By the way, average funeral can cost between, it depends, but like on different states. I know in Nevada, when I helped a family, theirs was about $18,000. I know in California, it's around 20,000 or higher. So just imagine, like, when people pass, most families don't just have a check where they could easily write $20,000. And that's why insurance is important. So nearly half, 43% of Americans have no insurance coverage at all. Roughly 50 million households in the US are underinsured. So what that means is they have insurance, but they don't have enough, right? With the average life insurance gap at about 200,000. Next, please. Next slide, please. Sorry. Thank you. So now I love visuals. I'm going to get more into visuals on the next slides. Imagine you have this toaster. We see money in it, right? That would be awesome. What if you had a toaster in your kitchen and on the 1st and 15th of every month, $2,000 popped out? I mean, I would be so happy. That would be really dope, right? But we know that doesn't exist. But just picture this toaster that's just popping out money. Would you like that toaster? Ask yourself that. I think most of us would love that toaster. It would be very well protected in our house. Would you insure it? Of course. If it's popping out $2,000 every 1st and 15th, that's $4,000 in my pocket. I want to insure that. And of course it says, unfortunately, there's no such toaster, but you are the money machine for your family. So that is a great analogy between, like, oh, if that really happened, and if you have 2 incomes, because most people have 2 incomes now, but imagine that paycheck, it just stops, right? And what if you don't have life insurance? Then it's not covered. So if it makes sense to insure an imaginary toaster, wouldn't it make sense to insure your income? And I think most of us would agree, yes, right? And then next slide, please. So now here is a real life example. This is a mother with a son. She's now widowed, right? There's no picture of her husband because in this example, he passed away. However, what their income was per month, she was bringing in $3,500 as well as her husband. So now they had a total income of $7,000 a month. We live in the Bay Area, right? When we hear paycheck to paycheck, we know what that means. Your money goes towards the mortgage, the car or cars in this situation, insurance, credit cards, utilities, groceries, childcare. Everything's accounted for already. he's no longer there and his income is no longer there. So now this wife with a son has to figure out how she's going to maintain all of the bills off of a $3,500 income, monthly income now, right? If this happens, what will this family lose? It's one thing to grieve the loss of a loved one. Imagine like losing a spouse, right? I can only imagine. And it's another to then have to deal with the financial devastation. You know, those are both really stressful situations. Life insurance obviously will not take back your loved one, but it can relieve at least the financial stresses from, a family. Next, please. So now, speaking of that, I wanted to show some statistics. I'm not going to read all of that. I'm just going to give an example where it talks about debt. Why do we need insurance? Because if you have debt, it covers your debts, right? Did you guys know in the second quarter of 2022, the household debt surpassed $16 trillion, including mortgages, auto loan, credit card balances, they're increasing, right? With inflation and everything, you could only imagine people like, wow, everything's going up, gas prices, groceries. Where am I going to find this extra income if we're living paycheck to paycheck? So now people are starting to get those credit cards and get loans out, right? So people's debt is going up even higher. Imagine if you don't have life insurance. That's why we talk about that. Make sure you're covering that. Next slide, please. And then what is a good salary to live in the Bay Area? Let's think about that. You know, we showed someone whose true income was $7,000, right? We know in the Bay Area it's a little bit different. Yes, we all need to be insured. I agree, Ramona. Thank you. Next slide, please. In the Bay Area specifically, it says people living in the Bay Area, and this was on the USA, consider an average of $7,810 monthly salary or about $93,000 annual income. And that's just one single income, you guys, with as good, right? So what does good mean? With this amount, you'll be able to live comfortably in the Bay Area. It will cover your 2-bedroom apartment, groceries for the whole month, transportation costs, and utilities. If you live in the Bay Area, can we, relate to this? We can, right? So imagine if someone brings in that income and maybe they're single, right? They don't have a spouse. Something happens to them, that's 93,000 of income no longer coming in. And what if they had children on top of that? Next slide, please. Thank you. More worrying, though, is that 1 in 4 such Americans have no life insurance coverage at all, while 60% are enrolled in group life plans. This is often far less than what we would be needed to take the place of loss of income due to death. So let me explain what that is. I truly believe the reason why the insurance coverage is so low, meaning outside life insurance, is because people assume what they get through work is good. So group life plans is through your work. So it says 60% are enrolled, right? But sometimes work also offers accidental insurance. If you have any more specific questions on that, you could definitely contact me because we have so much more information even on how insurance through work works. But I will say it will mean the family's underinsured. And insurance through work does not necessarily pay out the way we should expect it to. There are stipulations, especially accidental insurance, right? If that's offered through work, think of the term. It's things that are right in front of our face, but we just assume, oh, it's my benefits through work. I have health insurance, dental vision, I have accidental, so they say that's your life insurance. But just in that title, accidental, there's stipulations. You literally have to pass away a specific way with accidents. I read things like, oh, you have to lose a limb and then they'll pass out. You have to lose, like a finger. It does not pay out for natural causes. So those are things to look at. We know that it's super affordable through work. And I think that's why people don't look into their other outside sources and they automatically assume it's theirs. But guess what? When you leave that job, because nowadays most people don't stay at their jobs for 40 years. We're always trying to find something else, right? Or you move up. Just like your 401ks, other benefits, it stops. That insurance stops as well. Overall, there are 102 million uninsured. So they don't have coverage, and underinsured Americans, they have coverage, but not enough. And they know they need more. So what's holding people back? Let's look at that. Next slide, please. All right. So what's holding people back is what kind? I know there's so much right now on social media going out there. A lot of things sound attractive, but because I'm in the industry, I know the behind the scenes, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys. So basically, outside of work, there are only two options. It's either the left side of the screen or the right side. And it's really understanding what makes the most sense for my family, as well as what's affordable. A big reason why people don't get insurance is because it's so expensive, at least what the agents are trying to sell people out there. So I'm going to focus on the left side. In life insurance, there are two options. The left side includes whole life, universal, variable life. There's different names now, IULs. You'll hear people say, oh, you couldn't get a policy and it's in the index, right? All these things. So in this example, if we hear, okay, I need life insurance and this agent is selling this. In this example, John and Mary, they're 35 years old. They're offered 100,000 coverage each. So 200,000 total. But look at their payment. That's $225 a month. They're only 35 years old. One thing to know about insurance, it is based on your age, health, and risk. The older we are, the more expensive it is. The younger we are, it's less expensive because everything's based, like I said, on health and risk as well. Just like auto insurance, right? They look at, how many accidents have you gone through, things like that. Oh, the slideshow closed out. I don't know if you could pull that back up, please. Oh, I can't hear you, sis.
It's been really hot in the Bay lately, so technology hasn't been our friend. So we're gonna just pause for a minute because you might need to get a drink of water. So it's okay.
I've got my water too. I know. Before I get into this topic.
That was a lot of information while I try to get the slides back up.
Yeah. And this topic is gonna be the one that is gonna be very effective for those watching.
Well, while we're waiting on getting your slides back up, we could talk a little bit. So
yes,
this is like some heavy work that you're doing for the community.
Yeah.
And I heard you say earlier you was doing this before you even was a mother. Most people would get into something like this when they become a mother and they want to help themselves and help their babies. I mean, Where did that passion come from? Did something happen? What made you want to care for a community like this?
Right. So, just a little bit, I grew up, my mom was a single mother, 3 of us, and living in the Bay Area, she makes good income, but raising 3 kids, trying to get them through college, it was a lot. So what happened was I originally was in school. I've always just wanted to serve. I always felt like whatever my calling is, I want to help the community. And at the time, my mom's a nurse. So I was thinking, I don't know if I want to be a nurse. So I'm like, well, let me look into maybe dentistry, just something in the health field. I thought it would have been fun. I honestly was trying to figure it out. And, Tony and I, we also know each other through more like creative art. So I was a dancer, before, but of course, when you're a dancer, cheerleader, all that.
The slides went away off the screen.
Oh, sis, you're on. So basically what happens is, being a creative, a lot of times when you reach that those college times, right, when you're trying to figure out what you want to do career-wise, it can be discouraging. So I got into that field. I was in college. My aunt has been in this business for a long time. So what happened was I was 19 and she hired me as her admin. And as her admin, basically, like I said, I grew up, my mom was a single mother. I always worked in high school. And then I worked in college. And I was just trying to get through school. So she hired me as her secretary really to kind of help me out, because she knew my mom's situation, being a single mother. I went to community college, just trying to work 2 jobs, get through that. And it was a blessing in disguise because as her secretary, I'm only 19 years old. I'm in college, so I'm in study mode, I guess, right? She I was her admin, and they did these presentations. A lot went over my head. Even today, maybe a lot of information is going over your head too, but I knew what they were talking about was important. So I'm like, let me learn some more. So as her admin, I was learning about investing, life insurance. I'm like, wow, like these people are really helping the community, And that's where, after a year of being her secretary, on top of seeing the checks they got paid, I'm not gonna lie, I'm what 19-year-old.
Keep it real on both sides of the conversation. Keep it real.
That's how I got started, though. It wasn't like I was intrigued because it was about money. I knew they were helping families, but when I joined, I was a broke college student. I had 2 jobs while I was my aunt's secretary, right? And I remember asking her, I'm like, can I just do this business? I told her, I'm like, I don't want to build a team. I don't want to expand my business. Like, I just want to make money so I could get through college. So she got me through licensing right away. I was 20 years old. So now I'm telling you guys my age because I told you I've been here for 15 years, but it's okay. Whoever's calculating it. So bottom line, I joined at 20. I helped people in my community, like people from church, things like that. And they were older than me. So a 20-year-old realizing that I'm bringing value to like people who are adults, it made me feel like, oh, wow, this is needed, and I thought they're just doing me a favor to listen because I was young, but we ended up starting to really help them. And then that's when I realized, like, yes, the pay was great, but I realized, oh my gosh, what a great feeling to educate, help them, and I'm getting paid. And, let's be real, we're all working because we have to make money, but it really helps when you feel good about what you're doing at the end of the day. So that's how I got involved.
I love that Cinderella story. I love it. I always love an underdog story like that.
Thank you. Okay. That's my story.
Yes. I love it. And we're gonna talk more about it. But the internet loves us again, and your beautiful slides are back up. So I'm gonna let you finish your presentation because you was just getting into the juice.
Thank you. Yes. Hostess, you might have to go forward.
Let's see. I wasn't sure where we stopped. Okay, that looks familiar. That looks familiar. Right here. There we go. There we go, community.
Okay, let me get some more water because this is juicy. Take some notes, you guys. All righty. Okay, so I know I was breaking down the left side, right? So here in the example, a 35-year-old couple, of course they could find $225 in their budget. I mean, you guys, we blow $225 on gas, DoorDash, it's really, we will find what we want to spend our money on, right? But at the same time, if we see it as a bill, right? If we're not looking at it as gas because we need it and, eating food and stuff, because those, eating food is like a pleasure, at least to me. When you see $225 as a bill, your mindset just shifts. You're like, $225 for life insurance? I don't even know if I want to do that, right? Let's just be honest. So in this policy, the premiums are typically higher because they also provide a cash value. But the cash value is tricky. We really need to understand. And you guys, I'm sure you guys have seen reels and TikToks of people saying, oh, this is what rich people did and all that, right? But I'm going to break it down to you. So the cash value at age 65, if they do not touch it, they're saying it can reach $76,880. The agents will tell the families you could use it to supplement your income. You could borrow it on a down payment on a car. You could borrow it to start a business. You could borrow it for a down payment on your house, right? So all of these things to a 35-year-old couple sounds great because they're like, oh, now I see value in paying $225 because not only are we going to get $100,000 of life insurance, but I could borrow from this cash value, right? So the key word I said is borrow. And when you borrow something, we all know when you borrow, you do have to pay it back, right? You can't just borrow it and then, keep it. So what happens is, imagine borrowing $76,880 over time. Also, if you think about it, if that's 65, that's retirement age. For some, I know some people want to retire younger. But what is $76,880 going to do for someone at retirement if you're, thinking about it? That's a 30-year time frame of putting $225 into this type of life insurance, right? So again, you borrow that, you have to pay it back. Well, what if you don't? If you don't pay that $76,880 back, let's say the husband dies, right? John, he passes away. They will subtract the $76,880 plus interest, because remember, it becomes a loan, from the $100,000. And guess what? That $225 every month you've been spending over the past 30 years, and the value is now less than $20,000 of payout to the wife. And what if they have children? What if she still has a mortgage? All of that. So these are the things they don't break down to you. You may hear reels like, oh yeah, this is what rich people are doing. They're borrowing it. And even if it subtracts from the face amount, well, guess what? Most people aren't rich. Most people want that 100,000 total when they pass away, right? They don't want 20,000. So we just educate, okay, this is how it works. We analyze policy. So if you don't believe me, I promise, if you give me a whole life policy, I'll analyze it for you. I'll read the fine print. But that's in the grand scheme of things how it works. So just be careful. They will sell you as if it's an investment. Just remember, I am investment licensed. I had to go to school. It was really hard. Like I said, I joined young, so I took it a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie. But I have that license. So it's kind of misleading when a life insurance agent is selling this as if it's an investment. Legally, you have to be licensed to sell an investment. Okay. So just be careful with that, you guys. They will sell you on, the index, and you're getting this interest, but they're not talking about the interest you have to pay back when you borrow that loan. So now on the right side, well, how do we help families, or what makes the most sense? We do believe in buy term and invest. So I know a lot of people are like, well, term doesn't last long. It's going to expire, because that's what people say. Oh, it's going to expire and it's just going to explode the price when it's up for renewal. So what we teach is a strategy, right? Yes, we want you to have life insurance, but guess what? We actually want you to become self-insured like rich people. We want you to become financially independent. We don't want you to rely on life insurance. We just need it because we're all in the building stages. Does that make sense? So now in this example, we just taught the young family, hey, look, you're 35 years old. You need more coverage because 100,000 can only last how long, right? So we gave them 250,000 on the husband, 250,000 on the wife. In this example is a 30-year term, right? And look, they're only paying $80 a month. So we save them $145. We're buying them time. So when we do term, it's locked in for that amount of years, because really, if you think about it, you need it during unstable times, when you have high debt, when you have young children. However, when you reach 65, well, you should have investments to rely on, right? You should have your money saved, or as we say, you should have your money stacked up, right? So now in this example, they have the $80 a month policy. They have a peace of mind. Once people get insured with us, I'm like, don't worry about it anymore. Your focus now needs to be making more money and investing properly. Do not put all your money into a life insurance policy, the left side, because it's just going to eat itself up towards the end of the years. Now with that extra 145, they don't have to invest, but once you're educated, it makes sense to. They were spending that already, so why not open up a Roth IRA? Why not open up a 529 for your child, right? Whatever investment, everyone's goals and dreams are different, but just invest. So the 145 at a 9% rate of return, that's just the average of the market. If they invest that alongside their 30-year term life insurance, they'll have an extra $265,457 of their own cash. This is not something they have to borrow from. It's their investment. And this is just supplemental to their 401k, right? And maybe they get a pension, maybe they have some kind of social security. That's a whole nother subject. But anywho, that's building real wealth there, right? So obviously it says which program would we want, the left or the right side. We are all about strategy, and most families do believe the right side makes the most sense, because once you reach 65, guess what? My 4-year-old son, he'll be 39 years old. Sometimes we forget to think how far in advance things will be and the changes, and he won't be depending on me as much financially. That's why we believe in buy term and invest, because you protect things right now while you need to. But as we progress, as we get older, the goal is to make changes and to make better financial choices so that we can become self-insured one day. I hope that made sense. I know that was a lot. Again, you could message me if you need another breakdown. Next slide, please. And then investing the difference. And I believe I only have a couple slides, and then we'll leave it open to questions and answers. So now we don't stop there. You know, like I said, we're here to help you to build, you know, that wealth, right? Yes, we can see life insurance as generational wealth, by the way. The way we see that, though, is if something happens to us prematurely, we want our kids to have that money so that they could then invest and do something. But guess what? What if we are given a long life to live? We also need to be good stewards with our money and build so that we have investments to also have that generational wealth in investments, right? So now it's saying invest the difference. Let's say when you reach 65, you're self-insured now. You're like, okay, my kids are older. You know, if this is a 35-year-old, hopefully their mortgage is paid off by then or close to. And hopefully in 30 years, they have no debt. You know, your responsibilities should really lessen. You shouldn't want to be 65 with a whole bunch of debt over your head, right? If it happens, it's fine. There's always a way to get out of it. But let's just say now you're self-insured. What if you invest that entire 225 now for the rest of your retirement? Did you know in another 5 years from the time you're 65 to age 70, it will grow to 282,000? And that's kind of how we teach families. By the time their term is up for renewal, we ask them, well, do you need it? You have 265,000. So if you pass away, your family will have more than enough to pay for a funeral. And they're just at a different stage in their life. It's all about stages, right? Next slide, please. And now I'm just going to break it down quickly. What are the benefits of insurance? We covered it, right? Income replacement for loss of salary, paying off your mortgage. You know, when I've paid out 10 death claims in my career, I know how we deliver to families and even people who have mortgages. We're not saying, oh, use that life insurance just to like pay off the house, but at least that wife or husband or that those children can continue paying the mortgage stress-free. You know, that's what we mean by that. Have enough where it could cover those expenses. Paying off other debts such as car loans, credit cards, student loans, providing funds for your kids' college, helping with other obligations such as care for aging parents. It's all a trickle effect. We all need to make sure we are covered. Next slide, please. And who needs life insurance? Someone already said it, right? We all need life insurance. There are many reasons you may need life insurance. Yes, Ramona, thank you. If you're unsure if you need it, the simplest question to ask yourself is, does anyone in my life benefit from or need my financial support? So piggybacking off of what Tony said, I joined when I was single, no kids, right, in college. What made me do this? Yes, the money attracted me at first, but then I realized like there's a big need. But I also was covered. I learned I'm single. I had debt, right? I racked up debt in college. If anything happened to me, my single mother would not easily be able to just pick up a checkbook and write 20 grand, you know? So that is what they're talking about is, does anyone in my life benefit from or need my financial support? Even if you might live at home or people don't depend on you, you might not have children, and they're not depending on your income, you have to think of those things though. Like if something happened to me, will my family be able to bury me in dignity, right? This could be a child, spouse, aging parent, business partner, or even the co-signer on a student loan who would get stuck with the debt if you weren't around to pay it off. If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. So that just is all that to say we all need coverage. And then next slide, I believe that's the last one. Next slide, please. Yep, it is. So here we are in September, Life Insurance Awareness Month. If you follow me, you know, I talk about it a lot. I talk about other subjects, but definitely I feel this is a conversation we need to continue spreading in our community. You know, there's just a lot of different things happening right now, and we just need to get it done, get covered, see what we could afford, and not worry about it, right? But I definitely would say just at least see your options and go from there. So that's my time with the presentation. Tony, anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I got a lot. I heard so much. Okay, first of all, isn't today the 15th?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I went into my kitchen and I got my toaster and I don't see no money coming out. Where my money at? I'm afraid to put it upside down because I know ain't nothing gonna come out but crumbs. Okay.
Oh my God, I love this.
So first of all, I said, hold on, it's the 15th today. Shouldn't I have some money coming out of there?
Right. I love that. That was a good one.
So I heard you say something about, so for me, I'm a mother, and I'm a single mother. Mm-hmm. And I definitely don't want to leave my kids behind with all my mess that I got going on. I try to be a responsible America community, but life happens. Right. And so I heard you say something about a 529 for the child. Could you talk more about that for us parents that need to protect our babies out here?
Yeah. So, people have questions about that. I could definitely give, would you recommend an umbrella policy? I'll get back to that after. So 529, what that is just, a tax-free college fund, right? But I know a lot of my clients I talk to, they're like, well, what if my kid doesn't go to college? That's why we sit down and ask them, well, what are your goals? I have a lot of clients, especially like millennial parents, have that idea, well, what if they want a business? Then that's great. Don't do a 529, you know what I'm saying? And just do a regular investment where they could use that money for their business. But at the end of the day, you don't really know what your child is going to do. So you kind of have to weigh out, all right, do I want to save? Like me, I do both because I don't know if my son's going to go to college, but I would love for him to try. And at least I have something that could be growing tax-free. He could try community college a couple years. He doesn't like it, that's fine, but just building something for the future is important.
Yes. Now, we serve the community, Renee, right?
Yes.
And our community is Black and brown, like us, right? Mm-hmm. They look just like you and I, right?
Right.
So with that being said, we have trust issues.
Yes.
We have really big trust issues. Mm-hmm. And we don't live for the future. We live for now.
Yeah.
And half of that is because financially, that's just how it is. So, I heard you say, don't let them sell you this and don't let them do you this. Like, can you talk about picking the right agent? Like, how are we supposed to trust that person? I mean, it's already a lot to trust what you're saying. Not that, you my girl, so I'm going to trust you. And I got the plan. You gave me the plan. I think we're going on my third year or something. Yes. And let me tell you, community, that money comes out of my account and I don't even miss it. I don't even think about it.
Right. You're covered. You already know.
Yeah. And that is a blessing for me. But like for my peers and stuff, like how do you pick a good agent? How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, one, you guys could reach out to me.
There you go.
No, in all honesty though, like feel free to reach out to me, but really it's those who want to build a rapport and always test the education. Are they going to educate you or are they just trying to run you a quote, sell you? Like you said, yes, the Black and brown community, we're very skeptical. It's just in our nature, right? We don't know who we could trust because we're here, we're trying to work hard, but then it's like our hard-earned money and we don't want to just put it in someone's hands if it's not going to work out the way it does. And that's a big reason to answer also your other question earlier, why I joined, because I'm like, I know me, I could be relatable to people and I know the type of person I am, I keep it real. Like if I don't like it or if it seems sketchy, I'm like, no, and there's no sugarcoating here. What I learned is like, just analyzing, being real with people. So if you are ever seeing like ads or TikToks or you approach whatever company and you're just not getting that vibe, more than likely your gut feeling is like, maybe reach out, see a couple options, talk to a few different people. And then from there, you'll naturally know who to talk to. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my best advice is just how well are they educating you? Because I would tell you this. We educate all the time. We do this. We don't get paid to do this, but I know it brings value and I plant seeds. I really trust in what I do. those seeds are planted, and if someone wants my help, I'm here, but if you do find those people like just pushing, oh, no, oh, that's a bad company, and you're just down talking. That's why I like keeping, like breaking down the facts, but I won't like necessarily down talk a company, because I'm just not like that. But I will tell them like, oh, well, this is how it works, and it speaks for itself, then just be aware of that, because if someone seems like they're too desperate just to sell you a policy or just to sign you up, that's a key sign, because in this industry, it is commission based. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know.
And that's how it is. So, I mean, like I said, it's something we need. But if everything is sales, let's say that. But if people give you that whole like sales person feeling, then maybe if you don't like that type of vibe, because I'm the type of person.
Because I don't like people. I can't stand that.
Me either. I just don't move forward. Whether, not even just in insurance, whether it's like for a car or at the mall, like just approach me correct and just be like, do you really like what you're doing? So yeah, I think we all sense that.
We had another question in a comment.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Account.
That was Ramona.
Let me see.
What is an index? Should I get this? And she also said umbrella. So Ramona, great questions. So that left side of the presentation, can we pull that back up again?
Yeah, sure.
Great question, because this is what's going around.
What number was it?
I don't. Okay. It's the one where the John and Mary, 35 years old. That one.
That one.
Back, please.
That one?
No. Oh. Back.
One more.
That. Yep. Perfect.
Oh, that. Okay.
So both of those policies that you're talking about are categorized on the left side. So do I recommend it? No, to be honest, because it may not have the whole life name. There's just different names, but they work very similarly to each other. I don't know if you have the actual policy, Ramona, but like look in the policy and read, those fine prints if you ever want me to help read it. When they talk about the index, they're talking about the IULs, right? And they'll sell a lot of clients on, oh, well, it's going to be invested in the index. But what a lot of people don't know is you could just get a mutual fund with the S&P 500, and skip the whole insurance company. Because what happens is when you get into those contracts, there's the fine print and there's like a time frame. It becomes the loan. You are still borrowing against it, regardless if it's an umbrella policy or an IUL. It's going to be categorized on the left side. So I hope I answered your question.
Now, what would you recommend for people, as this pandemic happened, a lot of us was working like these corporate jobs, and we've been on our jobs for years because that's what we were supposed to do, go to work every day, Mm-hmm. But the pandemic, gave us the opportunity to become entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people were, fired from their job from not getting vaccinated or just moving into a whole nother career. And as I know, I have a lot of friends that did that, and they had 401ks from their jobs. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, the market sucks right now, mm-hmm. And what would you advise someone with a 401k to do with all that money? Because I know I heard, and I might have heard this wrong, but I heard you say like not invest it all. But what would you do with that 401k?
Anytime you leave your job, roll it over. I help so many people with this all the time because yes, during the pandemic, but not just that, most people aren't staying at their jobs that long, right? They're like getting a job, mm-hmm. they're finding a new one, moving up. You want to roll it over. There's different options. We just in simplistic terms in IRA, because what happens is you just want to visually think like, oh, I'm not working at XYZ anymore. Do you want to leave your retirement there? Like what's happening? When you roll it over into an IRA, you're now like kind of more in control. You go to another job, you have a 401k, maybe there are a couple of years, you leave, bring that money rolled over into that same account. So now what you're doing is you are building your wealth for your future, but you're avoiding getting taxed and penalized because you have to be 59 and a half for retirement, type of not policy, but investment to then avoid those penalties. A lot of people are like, well, why do they do that? That's my money. That's why you need to have an emergency fund. We have to remember retirement money, we shouldn't be touching it, even though things happen, right? And it does kind of suck like those penalties. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, it's kind of good for a disciplinary area because it's going to help us to have something for our future. Because what happens is most people don't. We retire and then you have nothing. But you want to roll it over as long as you're under 59 and a half to avoid that. And I know most probably everybody has dealt with that where maybe they didn't know, because most people don't know. They're like, oh, let me withdraw this 401k. And then next year you're owing the IRS money, right? So these are just things, they seem like simple things that we all should know, but we don't. We find out when it happens. And you're like, oh, why am I paying 35%? You know, it's like almost half of your 401k. So yeah. I'm exaggerating, but that's a lot.
No, I get you. I get you. I have another big question. I mean, I was keeping up with you because I have a policy myself, and I've heard this presentation before with you and several other people. But like, if this was my first time hearing this today, I would be completely like overwhelmed and lost and confused. You know, y'all, I remember you saying y'all don't do no ads, y'all don't advertise, like y'all don't do nothing, but y'all are successfully, I think it was like what, 900 billion or something insurance coverage. Like, I think I'm just looking for comfort, you know, around making a decision like this, because this is such a huge decision. Right. What else kind of comfort can you give people? I mean, you gave a lot. I'm asking for more.
So what's funny is when we do meet one-on-one, it's not that long. Like, we keep it super simple. We just want to understand their goals, but we're very straightforward. Like, this is how it works. The comfort to most people is we are a publicly traded company. You know, we don't advertise, but we are listed. We just can't advertise that. So please don't think I'm soliciting our company.
No.
But, you know, just the statistics alone, we've been on Forbes, right? We were on Market Watch just a couple of weeks ago. So that brings a peace of mind to, you know, people who might be skeptical. But even sometimes when we see things like that, we're like, oh, well, yeah, but, you know, what does that even mean, right? I do think what brings value and trust is the one-on-one time we take with people. So even though I've done a lot of Zooms nowadays because people are just, you know, open to it, we have a physical office location people could come to if they were like, I don't know you, like, let me meet you in person kind of thing. But, you know, the success of our businesses has always been through word of mouth. And we know that's old school, right? Word of mouth. Some people don't do it. I stick to it. I can't talk to strangers on the street. That's just not my personality. So I've actually just built it through people I know. They trust me, right? Like sis, like, you listen to me because there's some trust, even though it's like, well, what is this? But at least we knew each other on a personal level too. So that helped break the ice with this type of conversation.
You took me to lunch and everything, you know. Don't be thinking y'all can get all that, but
but that's the thing, is dealing in this industry. I could do that with people I know and it makes it fun, you know. But yeah, so it's word of mouth, just that relationship is key. And that's not just in insurance, that's just in general, right?
You're right.
You know, but I also think like you said, dealing with our community, it's hard also just to want to build relationships because, like, well, I don't want to get to know this person, and then what if they, you know, just in general. But we have to have our guard down a bit for us to also move forward. And I've learned that as I got older, like, well, how am I going to grow if I don't like open up a little bit, you know? So
yeah. I think another question I have is that, like, a lot of people like smoke weed and, you know, they drink alcohol, and, you know, a lot of our people in our community have high blood pressure and diabetes. Like, that's just really big in the Black and brown, you know, community. And so I think I want to know is that a hindrance to like getting life insurance and things like that? Like, how hard would that be?
A great thing working with people I know, they open up about that. So, and it's funny because when we, you know, ask certain questions, and when it comes down to like, we have to ask health questions, and like, well, what do they test for? I already know like what they're thinking. And then I ask them like, well, what are you concerned about? And then it's well, I smoke weed. So one thing you guys need to know is they don't test for weed. Just at least our company doesn't. I don't know if I should be telling you guys that, but it's typically like tobacco users. You're not going to get, all I'm saying is if people smoke weed, they're not going to necessarily get declined for it, right? It's not like you're applying for a job, but that's even different nowadays. I don't know the laws on that. But tobacco users, for example, they won't necessarily get declined, but it is higher rates versus someone who's non-tobacco. But this is what I always tell family and friends is if you're worried about real health issues, like you said, diabetes, things like that, there's a way to go through the underwriting process. You have to be honest. That's the number one thing. Just be honest. And that's another reason why younger generations need to try before we get older and God forbid those things happen. You know, it's all about prevention, right? I mean, I don't know if we can prevent that, but I'm just saying like apply before it could happen. But I know it can discourage people because people are afraid, like, well, I don't want to know. But I always tell people at least try, you know, because the worst case scenario is they might say you're, you know, declined, or they might say you're approved. And guess what? If someone's declined, I just teach them different solutions to do with their money. You know what I'm saying? Or we do reconsiderations. We just ask, hey, look, they were declined because of this, but guess what? They're now eating healthier. They're working out. Don't quote me that this will guarantee you to get approved, but we do go the extra mile to see if, hey, look, what if they get another doctor's letter and their doctor checks their vitals and everything looks better. Can we give them a chance? And sometimes people actually get reconsidered, you know? So
Wow.
yeah,
So what I heard you just say is that
Yeah.
you may not get approved because of your health, but it's a possibility that you could work on your health and then try again.
Yes.
And like I heard that community ain't no excuses.
I'm saying it's not guaranteed, but
yeah,
that's what I'm saying is try though. You know, what's the worst case thing? And I think that's the issue just dealing with finances is we know we want to do these things, but we don't want to face the reality of it. But that's part of us getting better with our money. You know what I'm saying? In general, I always tell people it's like, you know, speaking of health, you know, we have to do the things we don't necessarily want to do. Like we all say, oh, we want to be healthy, but then we have to go to the gym or eat healthy and stuff like that. Same thing with our finances. We want to leave our kids, you know, money, but we need to get life insurance. We have to go through that underwriting and maybe answer these questions. But it's really not daunting, I promise. But people do have those concerns.
We got another
what about
question.
Older folks with no insurance and health concerns? Yes, so there is a age gap, and that's why you also want to be careful too, though, because a lot of times older, you know, members, they get letters in the mail like, oh, you could do this with no physical and, you know, no health check, but their premiums are so expensive and there's fine print in that alone. As long as they qualify to at least apply, I know sometimes it's age 70 and a half, you have to, that's like the oldest to apply. They could do the health check and all that. As agents, we cannot decline them. We have to take every application. So even if there's health concerns, same thing, you know, you could submit it in and see what they say. Worst case scenario, if they do get declined, then we try to get it reconsidered. But if their health really isn't in the best shape, at that point, the best thing honestly to do is just start, you know, putting away money like in a savings where you don't use it for anything else. You just put it away for your parent or that elderly family member. And I've seen some families just put in, you know, together, like one person might open an account specifically for their parent who couldn't get it because they're now older. They waited maybe too long in their health, right? They put, you know, monthly, the siblings will put something away. Granted, we don't know when that person may pass away. So what if it's not enough? But at least you're intentionally putting it away for that reason, you know?
Right.
And yeah, so I hope that answered your question, but we will always find a solution. That's why I love the fact that we are, you know, more financial consultants, not just selling life insurance, because we could really help in other areas. Like, okay.
It sounds like that. It sounds that way.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little story? What is one of the best stories that you have endured by doing this work?
Ooh, I can't like say specific people, but I mean, I work with family and friends. I told you guys I paid out 10 death claims, and guess what? I knew like probably 8 of them, you know? So you're welcome, Mildred. You're saying what's the most, sorry, can you ask that question again, sis? Because that popped up.
I think what I'm getting to is that by you doing this work, it sounds
Mhm.
rewarding to you,
Yeah.
and I know you personally, so I know that it
Mhm.
is.
Yes.
And what I'm asking is like, what was a significant story or
Okay.
person you helped that, like, it touched you, or it made an impact on you, or
Yeah.
just made you want to do this work even more? That was like
Right.
5 questions in one. I'm sorry.
Very early on, I will tell you this. I get what you're saying now, how I became passionate. So I actually, like I was saying, I was going to church. So my pastor and first lady, they were like one of my first, just I educated them. And then we found out, things. And I'm like, oh, wow. And then she actually, I look up to my pastor and first lady for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they really believed in what I did. And, like I said, I can't like go too much into detail, but bottom line, she ended up even like joining the business with me. And I felt like, wow, if I'm helping, again, people who are around me that I look up to, then it really just was that light bulb, like, dang, like even like my own mom, like she's had, and I could share this because I can, but she, before like Primerica, she got into a really bad policy herself. So as I got older, I learned about that. But just knowing like, dang, like these people I know, they're trying to do right by their families. And then I'm just here, little me, 20-year-old, just like, hey, can I share this with you and just educate you? Like the same thing I showed you guys. And then realizing, oh my gosh, it's bigger than me just educating. Like people really have the wrong stuff. And just reading the fine print, like, dang, like people paying $500 a month on these things, thinking it's an investment. But then realizing, like, I did phone calls with these people directly and they have zero cash value. I'm like, wow, that's messed up. Like you're basically robbing families, So that was my pivoting point in the business. And then of course, being here long enough, like I saw how we deliver, like we pay out quick. That's another thing is you might have insurance, but how fast are they going to pay out? What other questions are they going to ask? But yeah, it becomes more than just business, to be honest. This is a very personal subject to a lot of people, and just seeing like who I have served and like even the people who have experienced someone passing but have been my client, I'm like, dang, like it's more than, it's bigger than me at the end of the day, right? Like, yeah.
And you just said something else that brought a question to me. And I don't know if this works for different people, but you said that you have a quick payout. So, okay, there's two questions.
Yes.
If someone was to sign up for this today, and then here we are, today's the 15th, and I don't have no money in my toaster, but next month, October comes, and it's October 15th, and they just dropped dead. Like, that was only like a month in. Like, what happens?
Correct. So this is one thing to know about insurance. There's a contestability period with any company. So if you haven't had the policy for at least 2 years, they do have to do an investigation, right? They have to like see like, okay, well, were they being honest on that's why I said, when you do it, be honest, right? As long as you're honest, it's going to go through quickly through that investigation. But if you're not, they're finding other things like, well, they said no on their application, but it says yes on their medical records. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother ball game. But I have actually dealt with a situation with that, but we paid out like in a couple months, but a couple months compared to like other people I've paid out in less than a month. That's still quick. I've heard stories of people literally like working with insurance companies where it took them like 6 months, like longer. Right. Imagine like dealing with someone's passing. You still obviously, that means they still had to come up with the money and then wait 6 months until they finally got something. So yeah. What else? And there's other things that people don't know about. We teach them that, hey, look, when their policies are active with us, that funeral home calls our company and then they work it out. Like our company will be like, yeah.
That's what else I was going to ask you. Because if someone passed, ain't nobody going to want to be calling you and asking you all of this and stuff. So
yeah, we deal with all that for the client. Yep. So, yep. It's very important to know that there's just a lot of things people don't know because funeral homes, they will want their money. You know what I'm saying? But if you have insurance, you can, make sure they communicate with the insurance company and then, but not all funeral homes will allow it. But Most should, to be honest. It's called an assignment of collateral. Like, oh, they do have active policy, because they're just worried, like, can they pay for this? Once it's confirmed, we'll tell them, like, look, it's an active policy, it's confirmed. Like, just allow them to continue with their services, so that at least the financial stress, they're not worried about that.
Right. I know during the pandemic, when a lot of people were passing away, the funeral homes was behind.
Yes.
There were so many people passing away and stuff that it was just, they were just kind of saying it was like nothing they ever seen before. So with that being said, like, if that was to occur or keep occurring, like, how does that work? Because isn't it like a certain time you have to pay them and get the money and things like that? Like, how does that work?
Right. Funeral homes they run their business however they run it. You know what I'm saying? But it's really in communication with them. And honestly, if they were behind, then they should give some forgiveness to the families. That's how I feel, But regarding, someone with insurance, it won't affect the fact that we have the money to pay out. It's just a matter of, like, the funeral home dealing with, well, when they want the money kind of thing. Because you are dealing with different parties at that point, right? When someone passes. So it's like on our end, we're like, well, we're saying it's good, but then the funeral home's like, they're behind. And then it's being on top of that. If I think about it, I think I was helping someone, not because they passed from COVID, but just they passed away during that time frame. You know what I'm saying? But they were behind. And I do remember that experience.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sister. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much.
I know it's like a lot. I know it's a heavy topic, but I hope that this, just brought information to you guys to at least, make sure that you consider it and be aware of what's out there is what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing to know we need life insurance. I think after this call, we all know, okay, we need it, but another to be sold the wrong kind and then dealing with that. So you can.
Well, I'm gonna let you give the community some parting words before we go. This is my girl Renee. She know what she's doing. She loves the community. She loves people. But I'm gonna let her talk and let her say what she want to say to y'all.
Yes, thank you guys again for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, I mentioned Ayana Matthews. She's part of both sides of the conversation. You could also reach out to her as well. And yeah, if you're having a hard time reaching out to me, just reach out to Tony, because that's my sister. She'll be like, hey, look, you need to message this person back. But I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to overwhelm you guys too much. Just don't think too heavy on it. Just make some kind of action step after this call is what I would say. And again, if this raised even more questions, since we're here, we're open to answering that for you outside of the phone call. Outside of the podcast. So that's it. And there I am below.
There she is, community.
Yeah, now if you message me, I'll probably most likely just give you my personal contact information because it's easier that way. But you can reach out to me there first. So thank you again, Tony. You did so well. This was great.
Thank you.
It was so fun to do this with you. And I'm telling you guys, we had no clue until she texted me and I'm like, oh shoot. Yeah, that is what I'm doing tonight. So it worked out perfectly.
I love you. I love you so much. We have history in different settings where we were still helping community in some way.
Everything is community based, Yeah, because I'm a creative person. I love that part of the community as well. So keeping our arts intact.
Well, community, you heard it first. Both sides of the conversation. We care about you. So don't hold yourself back. You need those new shoes. You need to go get your nails done. You want to go to that concert that you can't miss. But what you need is life insurance. You heard it first. You need life insurance. Get educated. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Get the knowledge before you have to hustle for it. Because we all don't want to be stuck in that situation of, like she said, making dinners, creating a donation list to get money to bury your loved ones. Do something for your loved ones before you leave this earth. get connected. Get life insurance because you heard it. She said $94,000 that you will need to live in the Bay Area if your spouse leaves you right now. And let me tell you, I don't have nothing to give you over here. But this is Educational Thursday, and we just plugged you. Holler at my girl Renee, or holler at somebody that you know that's like her. Get that insurance. Community. Don't get tied up. Don't get left behind, because you will have to bury someone, and someone will have to bury you. So why not be ahead of the game? Because it's that saying, you don't know something till you know something, but now you know, community, that it's important. Think of it like a bill. Just like any other bill that you have in your life, implement that into your world and get that 529 for your kids, like she said. This is an investment for yourself and for your loved ones. I don't want to see you out here trying to get coins and everything to bury your loved one. You got the education right here. It's right here for you. She said that she can make it work and make it affordable for you. But community, you got to invest in yourself. This is real life. This is real important. Be responsible. As you see, as you know, every time you turn on the TV, every time you turn on TikTok, every time you turn on Instagram, there's someone dying. Someone is getting shot. We do not know the day that we're going to leave this earth. But what we do know is we have the knowledge to be prepared when we leave this earth. So reach out, community. And if you didn't get to stay for this whole show because maybe the presentation was heavy, because it's heavy. It's heavy. But so is life. But it's going to be even more heavier to leave a loved one behind and you're not set up for success. And being set up for success is getting that life insurance. All right? That's what we do right here on both sides of the conversation. We give you the plug so you can plug it in. So keep coming back. And if you know somebody that can educate us as well, nominate them to come on our Educational Thursday show. Or you might know somebody that's doing amazing things in the community, like my sister Renee right here. Nominate them to come on our Hidden Gems show Tuesday. John Henry, you're very missed tonight, sir. Community, thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for your questions and your comments and your love as always. And thank you for everyone who supports both sides of the conversation. I'm your host, Tony Rochelle. Come back on Sunday for our 4 o'clock show. We're going to have the youth here, and we're going to be talking about abuse, prevention abuse. So make sure you stay tuned. Until then, we'll see you on Sunday, Tuesday, and next Thursday. Keep ascending. Peace.